Bang! Needs knives. I'm Jared with my lovely wife, Kara.
Hello.
And we are live, ladies and gentlemen, live on a Bang Gang members live sharpening. So, today we are talking about coarse edges because they are the most important. Why are they the most important? Well, if you can't get yourself a good coarse edge, you'll never get yourself any other, 600 grit edge, 1200 grit edge. It all starts with the base. So the coarse, your first stone, basically, how that edge turns out. Now, another thing that I don't think I've really talked about too much, and I should have, is how important your coarse edge is and how much your heat treat determines that. And we're going to go kind of deep into that, how your coarse edge should turn out and how a lot of that evolves around your heat treat. Now, you can't blame it on a heat treat if you're not good at sharpening, but if you know steels and you know sharpening and you know how it should feel, so on and so forth, you can determine like if this just isn't, the best heat treated steel. Not saying it's bad, but it's definitely not the best compared to maybe the same steel that you've sharpened.
That's a really good topic.
And how well it comes out, your coarse edge. Because I think a lot of people will, because it's a coarse edge, they'll say that, oh, it's supposed to be this way because, it's a coarse edge, so it's supposed to be super toothy. And like, well, yes, it's supposed to be super toothy. You should still be able to run your nail right up it and it feel like glass. It should still be nice and slick. And I'm going to show you guys a picture here in a second. We're going to get down in the stone and we're going to start sharpening. And we're going to do it live and show exactly what a coarse edge look like when it comes out after deburring, because the deburring process is what's important. How well does that burr come off of a coarse edge? How well can you get it off? Now, there is a thing where, if you're letting your burr get really big, that, and if it's a really big burr, and since it's such a coarse edge, that it might be a little bit more difficult. But when you're used to deburring and you're good at deburring, you can get rid of a burr pretty easily, even with a coarse edge. Now, if the heat treat's done very, very, very well, it's super easy to deburr a coarse edge. But if the heat treat is like mediocre, it might not be the easiest to get off. Now, if the heat treat is bad, it's going to be a lot more difficult. And what's going to happen is when you go to deburr, it's going to take steel with it. And I'm going to show you guys a picture right now, kind of what we're talking about. So let's drop the camera down to my picture really quick that I drew so I can give you guys an idea of what we're talking about.
Can I say something really quick?
Give me 1 second. Let me drop this down, get it set up.
Such a nice picture.
Oh, thank you. All right, go ahead. What?
As always, you guys, if you're a member commenting or somebody using Super Chat that isn't a member, if you have any questions today for Jared, just leave them in the chat, and I will be absolutely sure to answer them. This is the time for that, and we'll make sure we get to 100% of the questions.
Any type of edge topics, sharpening questions, whatever, right now is the time. So, what we have here is two different coarse edges. We're assuming they're both the same grit. We're assuming they're both extra coarse edges. Now, you'll notice this one, the top one. This would be the good one. This would be the bad one. You'll notice how clean the line is at the apex. It's not rocky. It's not, like if you look at this one, you can see it's very rocky, right? And if you run your nail up that, you're going to feel all these little bumps. And, a lot of people might relate that to, oh, well, it's a coarse edge. It should feel like that. No, your deburring process was not done well, whether it was the effect of your sharpening or heat treat. Now,
so it's all little burrs?
Well, no, it's when you deburred, the burr took steel with it.
Oh, okay, I see.
Now, see, if you look at this would be like a zoom in of your edge. If you notice, the grit pattern's nice and even, and the apex, this would be the apex, right? If you guys can follow me, that's the edge angle, and then this would be the apex. You can see it's a nice straight line. If you zoomed in microscopically, yes, it's going to be It's going to be toothy. It's going to have teeth on it, but the teeth are going to be consistent. Now, if we go over here to the bad one, you'll see it's a little bit more jagged at the edge. And then what happens? Yes, you have some evenness, some even teeth, and then you'll have like almost like a spot where the teeth go the opposite way, you know, and there's almost like a chunk missing, and then there's spots where the teeth are bigger. That's because when you deburred, as the burr came off, it took a little... What happened?
I don't know. I didn't do it. They can still hear us, though.
They can still hear us?
Yeah, it's just the camera.
Okay. Hang on 1 second.
Hold on 1 second, guys. Do you need a battery or something?
No, it's on. Oh, maybe you got unplugged.
Sorry, guys. 1 second.
Okay, it should be good now. I think the battery got unplugged.
You want me to get you a new battery?
No, it's not a battery. Maybe it's plugged in from the bottom.
Oh, I see.
Plugged it.
Oh, careful.
That's on.
Careful now.
There we go.
I might have to wind up reset.
No, it should start right now. It should jump on. Just give me 1 second. Come on. Start cam, baby. You did it.
I didn't do anything. I wasn't even touching the computer. It's literally I can't.
There we go. Bang. Sorry, guys. Our camera failed. Is
blamed.
everybody still here?
I just got blamed.
Well, the camera thing was turned off.
Yeah, because when it shut down, it did that on its own.
Anyways, so when the burr was being removed, it took steel with it. And some parts were clean and some parts are rocky. And that's why when you go to run your nail up it, you'll feel like, oh, it feels really good here. Then all of a sudden you'll feel a little rockiness here, nice and clean, a little rockiness here. It's not or maybe you'll feel rockiness up the whole edge. You know, like, of course, you're going to feel I don't want to say the teeth because I think I don't want people to misunderstand what I'm saying. It's still going to be nice and smooth. Is basically what I'm saying. Yes, you might feel a little bit coarser on your nail, but it'll still feel like glass. You might feel the teeth because it's an aggressive edge gouging into the nail a little bit deeper or faster, but it's still going to be a smooth edge. You're not going to feel rockiness. Now,
no inconsistencies? Like you wouldn't feel any inconsistencies?
No, you shouldn't. You should not. You should feel nice and smooth all the way up and down.
I feel like that's a good way to describe it. Even if you feel like a toothy edge, it should still be consistent feeling.
Now, most likely it was your doing. Most likely it was you.
It was your fault.
Not, but the thing is that a lot of heat treats are not the best, right? And then there's some steels that wind up having more differences than some other steels. Some other steels come out a lot better than other steels and are easier for companies to heat treat, blah, 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 blah. Now, especially on a mass production basis. So we have, this is a DMD Tristone. I have it linked down in the description if you guys want to get it. It's a 150, a 325, and a 1200 grit diamond plate. So we're going to start with the 150. So today, I want to talk about this. This was a great example of D2 done well. I could tell this was an amazingly done heat treat because with the coarse stone, the deburring process, the burr came off so clean, so good, revealing a perfect apex from a coarse stone. I didn't have to move up grit. Now, some of you, the reasons why you might not notice that maybe you might think like, wow, this heat treat is pretty good because as you moved up your stones, you got the 600 grit or something like that, and you got the effect of it being nice and smooth, right? Because you took out those inconsistencies that would have been there on a coarse edge with your other stones. So you should be able to get that same level of smoothness, basically, and all of that from your first stone, from a coarse stone, the foundation of your edge. And, you know, like I said, that was one reason why I knew right away this was a good heat treat, because it was a coarse edge, even though it is CPM D2, which CPM D2 does best with a coarse to medium grit edge. It does best with a toothy edge. And when I speak about grit, I always speak from diamonds. So it'd be 600 grit diamond, which is a toothy edge, does the best on D2 in my opinion, and even lower. I like between 400 and 600 grit. You can take it up to 1200 grit. That's the highest I would ever take D2 from me. Because once you get over 1200, you have diminishing returns on D2. So D2, as you're sharpening it, you'll get up to 1200 grit and it will start reversing. So your high level of bite will start going down and it'll start getting slick, after 1200 grit. Now, if it does hang on to the bite because your angle is so low and you continue to feel bite, okay, you might have a perfect edge, with a polished edge on D2 from the start. But once you start using it and cutting with it, that polished edge is going to go slick. So it doesn't do well with a polished edge. It does well with a toothy edge as D2 for you. Now, this is CPM D2. So it is a little bit different. Same steel, just a powdered version of it. So now we are going to either one sharpen, and I'm going to let you guys pick. We have the N680 Trauma that we will work on, which I have pretty good confidence in HOGUE's heat treat on this steel. It should have come out really good. Or we can do CIVIVI BRIGAND in D2, which D2, I think CIVIVI usually does a decent job. I'm not saying they do an incredible job, but they usually do a decent job compared to other companies with D2. But D2 is finicky for production companies, right? For like master heat treaters that are in their shop, it's probably super easy for them to heat treat. But when you're talking about mass production where they're pumping out hundreds at a time, it can be finicky for them to heat treat. So which one would you guys like to see, the Brigand or the HOGUE Trauma? Which one are we sharpening today? Let's get an answer.
What was it between the HOGUE and the what?
The HOGUE and the CIVIVI.
I mean, there's not a huge amount.
Nobody answers. We're gonna.
No. 2 people said CIVIVI D2. I'm just saying there's not a huge pool of comments because it's members only. So right now we got 2.
No, that's fine. We got CIVIVI.
CIVIVIs.
All right. So let's do the CIVIVI. So right now the CIVIVI has a high angle on it. I want to do a low angle. Here in a little while, we're going to talk about angle guides. I did bring them, so we're going to pop those out here in just a little bit. Let me raise this up just a tiny bit for you guys. Just a little bit. Right there.
Raise it up for us, baby.
Want to make sure you guys are able to see really good. Anyways,
that stone looks like a pretty Christmas decoration.
This?
Yeah, it reminds me of like garland or like a
garlic.
Yeah, just like take the blue away and you see the pretty shiny silver in the lines. It looks like a Christmas decoration.
Let me go this way, right there. Yeah, I think that would be better. It's kind of better if you guys can see my penis, my lap.
What?
So we're gonna start off now. I'm actually going to, because I think it's good for you guys to learn this finger trick. Now, I've told you guys this before. If you guys do my finger trick where you mark the fingers, if you're having trouble because your skin is too aggressive on the stone for your skin, get Captain Tape. My baby will link it down in the description from Amazon. Kapton. She's going to try to pull that up right now.
Sid, I'm going to ask you your question in 1 second.
I'm going to get a different pen.
Or I'll ask you right now. It's a quick one, Jared. Did you see the new DMD resin bonded diamond stones available in 1,000, 3,000, 6,000, and 12,000? Wow.
I don't understand. What is it from? Who's it from?
Sid asked, did you see the new DMD resin bonded diamond stones?
No, I have not. But
available all the way up to 12,000.
So I wonder what grit rating they're doing. They must not be doing the F series. I don't know who makes DMD or what country or anything like that. I'll have to look into them. So I'll look into them. Now, so I marked my finger. For me, the center of my thumb is right around 17 degrees per side. I marked it there, and then I kissed them together, my fingers together, which gave me the mark over here, and then I traced it. So these two angles should be damn near the same. Now, like I said, later on, we're going to pull out angle guides, and we're going to talk about them a little bit, which can help you guys, especially those of you that can't do the finger trick because it tears you up and you don't want to buy Captain tape. So,
I'm getting the link.
like I said, this is somewhat of a high angle edge. Let me see it right here. Let me just... This is a nice coarse stone. I'll take a look at it. Yeah. So this is probably a 25-degree angle that's on the Brigand. I don't know that for sure, but that's what I would guess. I'm just going to put the tip right here. Normally I would mark where my finger goes so that it goes in the same spot every time. I'm just going to use the knife as the indicator and always go as far as I can go forward. This thing's sliding a little bit. I might have to move this thing if it continues to slide.
Sid said he thinks they're made in China. He said he's also seen a few rugged and bonded diamond brands pop up on AliExpress lately.
Yeah, I don't trust AliExpress, guys. All right, we might have to move this. This is moving on me pretty bad. I don't want you guys to see white because it'll blind you guys. But it would do me a lot of good. So, sorry, guys. You guys are going to have to deal with getting blinded really quick. The whiteness might get you. So
don't worry, guys. There's just a little blindness. A little blindness.
So, we're going to have to pull that off. Yeah, that's a lot better. Oh, yeah. Because of the rubber feet on the bottom of this stone, it holds on to my rubber mat. I'm usually not a huge fan of the ones, excuse me, with these spaces. These spaces are to help debris, so the debris gets clogged in there, excuse me, and not on the stone. So if you did spray water or something like that, it kind of leaves a trail for it to go away. Excuse me. I'm not a huge fan of them because they kind of not mess you up, but it leaves ridges and you gotta like go over them, and then when you try to get your tip, sometimes your tip will land like right there how it landed on it. And then now I'm stuck. So now I have to go back over and try to land on a spot that's not like that. But it still works really good. So I'm not saying this is bad. These are still pretty decent. I mean, they're like, I think this whole thing's like $50 or something. It's pretty affordable. So, all right. So we're almost done with this side. So let's finish this side really quick.
Now, like I said, you should spray paint the table black. I actually think that's a really good idea because it would be like matte black and it wouldn't be shiny and it would actually be really cool. Crickets. It's fine.
Yeah, it's not a bad idea, but then we'd have to take it apart, bring it outside, spray paint. It just seems like a lot of fucking work.
Oh, yeah. No, I know.
Rather than just getting some mats.
The thought is cool.
Yeah,
the work is not
cool. Okay, so we have a burr all the way up and down. Now, the one thing that I'm doing that might be a little more difficult for people that are learning is I have a very small burr. I'm keeping my burr very small. Now, if you have a hard time indicating a burr, then you might have to let yours get a little bit bigger. But I would say once you've indicated a burr, and say if you know it's a large burr, go to the other side, do the other side, sharpen the other side, but then go back, right? Go back so that you can finish with a smaller burr. Don't try to finish with a huge burr, because then the potential of your apex to come out nice and clean is going to be lower. Make sure you guys can see me. Here, let me try going this way. Is that better for you guys? Is that better? No, maybe this way. I'm trying to make it to where you guys can see really good.
Can't see anything. You already blinded them, remember? Remember that?
Yeah, I remember that, baby.
Do ya?
I'm trying to do this with my My elbow all jacked up.
You can sit back. I'm not like close to you.
I'm not worried about you. I'm worried about them seeing it. I gotta like angle it weird. It's okay.
Is the camera lens zoomed all the way out?
Yep.
Really? Seems
yeah,
close.
It's just that my hand covers it.
This knife.
By the way, guys, after this, I'm going over to OCD for EDC's live. He's doing a live because somebody in the community passed away. And we're going to kind of pay some homage by doing a live and kind of talking about it. Ooh, damn, I already got a nice big burr. My heel has a little tiny bit of work to do, though, so I'm going to flip it and do it again. It's not anything like where you have to donate or anything like that. It's just to pay homage, like with showing up. So what's going on is we'll zoom in really quick so you guys can see the edge. Hopefully you guys will be able to see the edge, baby. Can you help me? Can I see it?
Yeah.
Okay, so the grip pattern's nice and even from heel to tip, but when I flip it over to this side, it does have a nice big burr from heel to tip. But even though it has a burr right here, I can see, because I'm following my grip pattern, that I'm missing a little bit at the heel. It's not hitting completely from the top of the edge to the apex. It's not perfectly hitting. It's only a little tiny bit left. Now, I could continue on this side until I get it. But since my burr is getting so big, I'm going to go over here, hit this side a few times, then come back. Now, this is a very coarse edge. Theoretically, like, I could go to the next stone, which is 325. This is a coarse edge. So this would be like a reprofiling edge. This one would be like a coarse. So this is very, very aggressive. 150 grit edge is very aggressive, especially diamond. Yes, baby. Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry. It is OCD for EDC. I realized I could have totally typed that after I tapped you. So, but yeah, OCD for ADC Mach. That's where it's at, right?
Yes, that's where it's going to be. I think Zach's stuff's going to be there. I'm not sure who else is going to be there, but I know he will be there. Okay. Burr from heel to tip again. Now, when you get your edge angle, holding your edge angle down really, really good, you'll be able to, once you generate a burr on both sides, literally doing 1 to 2 passes and getting a burr to come up, especially on 150 grit. Because it's so aggressive and you're holding your angle perfectly, so it should be able to remove steel all the way to the apex with only a pass or two. Dude, we just need like one more pass. My burr is so big though. Okay. All right. Now we have a pretty big burr. Like I said, I'm not going to deburr this burr. What I'm going to do is I'm going to make a new burr by removing this one and creating a new one so that it's smaller. I don't want this burr, so I'm just kind of knocking the burr off a little bit right there. All right, so, ooh. So we have a burr from heel to tip. Yeah. Okay. So now, how well is this small burr going to come off? Well, it's 150 grit stone, so this is, like I said, hyper aggressive. Theoretically, I should move to this one and do at least a coarse edge. But let's just do it just to see, even though it's so hyper aggressive. We're going to do a very, very light pass. Just to fatigue it. There we go. See, it flipped already. That's kind of good. That one didn't flip.
Baby.
Yeah.
What exactly is a burr?
A burr is when you're removing steel from the edge angle. There's basically a wire. Let me deburr this on the strop, or you know what? While we're sitting here, I'm gonna put some Schmidt on here, and then we'll talk about it.
Yeah, put some of that Schmidt on there.
So we're gonna put 1 micron Schmidt on this.
You should make a stropping compound and name it Schmidt.
That's Schmidt.
Just put a little bit of that Schmidt on here. Yeah, ever since I met Jared, he always uses the word Schmidt or Schmitty to describe a word he doesn't feel like saying, kind of like when people say, like, oh, that doohickey over there, or like...
Or grab that shit.
I never thought of it as like that. I thought of it more as like the way people are like, oh, go grab me that thingy-mabobber.
Oh, it is definitely like that. I just mean like some people would, just...
Because normally you say Schmitty.
I do.
Yeah.
Okay, so...
In fact, if we have a kid, that's what we're going to name it.
Yep.
Old Schmitty.
Schmitty the Burr. All right. So a burr is
not when you're cold. I know you think it's like when you're cold outside, but that's not what it is. I learned that. Ha! Get it? No. Okay.
Okay, so when you're sharpening and you're doing each side of the edge bevel, as you remove steel from this side, what's going to happen is you're going to continue to remove it, right? As you continue to remove it, this side is going to hang a wire up. See that? So like as I remove steel here, say if I've removed that much steel, well now a wire is hanging up right there. So that is the burr, this wire. So after you do this side, so like say if I've done this side now, or sorry, I'm going backwards. It'll go up this way. So I've worked on this side and I've sharpened this side and now there's a wire there. So now as I sharpen this side, I'm going to knock that wire off and I'm going to create another wire. So your goal is after you've created the wire at the edge to knock it off to reveal a perfect apex. So it's nice and clean, nice and sharp. Because you'll continue, every time you sharpen one side, the burr will be on the opposite side. So if I sharpen this side, I'm going to feel the burr, because the burr will be like this. I'll feel the burr with my finger like this, because there will be a wire hanging over this way. So I'll feel it. And then when I do this side, or when I do this side, it'll be on this side. The opposite side of any side you're sharpening. Put my thing back. Okay, so this is dry.
Wow.
The burr's a little rough because it's 150 grit. It is a bit toothy. Yes. What am I doing? Why'd you do that?
I didn't mean to. It broke.
With what?
I just went like this and it went. Tsh.
Is that a real nail?
Yeah, that's a real nail.
Go cut it off. Go clip it off.
Ow, guys.
Go clip it off, baby.
It's like off.
Well, I meant like with clippers instead of yanking it. Never mind.
It's already off. I broke my nail super deep just now. It's bleeding.
Like her whole nail.
Ow.
Okay, this one's feeling a bit rough. I'm gonna try to, because I'm gonna hit the 325 really quick and see if that feels a little bit better. Let's see how this is. This is not coming off as easily as I would like the burr to come off. It is 150 grit though, which is and it's brand new. So it's probably more like 100 grit. And yeah, it's not
Hey,
coming
Barry.
off as easily. Yeah.
Dennis said that Schmidt and Schmitty is a common name in Germany, and he had a friend in school named that.
Where we got it from was back in the day when we were younger. We used to use it like kind of like calling people that or like things, you know. So this is very aggressive, and it literally did exactly what I said it would do. Now this is the first sharpening on this. It's not saying it's a bad heat treat. You know, it could be a burnt edge, and it could be technically my sharpening, right? It might be too coarse of a stone. We're going to move to the 325 and see if that helps it. But the burr did not come off as clean as I would have liked, and on the whole entire edge. And I made sure it wasn't a big burr. My apex was good. My angle was good. Lots of things were good. So it had a great potential to do well. And I can feel rough areas. So, but like I said, it could be me. What we're going to do is we're going to move to the 325 and see if that helps a little bit, because this is a brand new plate. First time it was used, and it is hyper aggressive. This is still aggressive, but it's a 325. 325, I like 300 grit edges. I have a lot of knives with 300 grit edges, so it shouldn't be too bad. So let me start on this side. We'll get a burr pretty quickly, or at least we should. You can hear it. It even sounds finer. Sometimes, if you are dealing with a burnt edge or something like that, you can actually feel it in many cases when you get into good steel. Okay. You guys see this? The grip pattern looks great. You know, there's a big burr. All right, let's try this now.
Ow. It's probably good.
This side. I'm trying to make sure you guys can see really well, because
Did you ever explain what a burr was?
yeah.
Okay. Burrs are like one of the few sharpening concepts that I actually understand really well.
Yeah, and it's one of the things that you do in order to get a good edge, a great edge, I should say. You have to understand the burr. That is one of the most important parts of sharpening. Some people say chase the burr. I say chase the grit and the burr. They're both so important, because if you chase the grit, meaning the grit pattern of which you are putting on your edge, if you follow that, then you'll know when you have a burr without even feeling it. But it's still important to notice and touch and feel, but also follow the grip pattern and stare at your grip pattern and watch it go from the top of the edge bevel to the very apex, and make sure it hits every bit of your edge from heel to tip, from the top of the edge bevel to the apex. You have to watch that. And if you can watch that, you can indicate when your edge is done, or that side at least.
Man, we're missing some of our regular people.
They might be over at Coles, like I said. He's probably still alive. He's better than us.
Yeah, that's true.
Or maybe he might be doing a giveaway or something over there. I don't know. Or maybe they're busy. I mean, not everybody can always show up. It's Sunday.
Surprised
It's Sunday.
that they're not here. We're missing Polo and Kyle, Yoda. So many people. But we do have just Nate, Sid One,
Right
Tabitha,
now,
Dennis, Heyman.
I'm flipping the Burr back and forth. It's not coming off again as easily as I would like it to, especially for D2.
Oh, Cole's done. He ended 10 minutes ago. Wow.
Maybe they're busy.
Maybe it's because we
Maybe
talked
we
shit to
suck.
him last night.
Who?
Cole.
No, I went on to his live. I was there.
This morning?
Yeah.
No, I meant like last night. You were saying how like he.
Oh, why he ended? No, I don't know. I was on his live though. I didn't apologize though.
Will's here. He was just being a ninja watcher.
Oh yeah, boy.
I love that term, ninja watcher. I think that's funny, and it perfectly describes when you watch something and don't comment.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a ninja watcher usually.
I'm a ninja
in
watcher.
other live, not knife live streams, but like just like unrelated live streams.
Okay, it's pretty close to being gone, but I'm trying to be very gentle. This last pass, this should be pretty good.
I'm gonna read you this comment. It said, "Steal like."
Okay, here we go. Here we go. We're getting it good.
Hey,
hold on, baby. This is the important part.
What's Vanadis? Is that a steal? Vanadis? I have never heard of that in my life. Have you?
What?
Vanadis?
Yeah, I have.
Vanadis 60? Because it said steal like...
Okay, now we're talking. Now we're getting there. Okay.
Damn it.
All right. Let's see how this goes. So.
Hey.
Now.
Can I just read this really quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
Steel like Vanadis 60 / HAP 72 above 67 HRC can be a B to sharpen and won't support an angle below 15 degrees. Very well lower than that. Can't support all the carbides. I only got one knife in that steel. I've never heard of that steel.
So he's saying that it can't support, its edge stability can't support an angle below 15 degrees, which 15 degrees
that's
is
low.
That's already a low angle.
Mm-hmm.
But then it makes you wonder, though, okay, so if it can support a 15-degree angle, is it very fragile at 15 degrees? And then he's saying that the carbide volume is there's too much, or the carbide volume they're too big. I'm not sure if he's saying there's too many, too big, or both. Okay.
He said the new Kunwu knife will come in both Vanix and Vanadis. Apparently.
The new what?
Kunwu.
Oh, Kunwu. No shit.
Yeah.
What
you
was
should
that?
get it so you can sharpen it. Huh?
What was that?
Did something just fall off there?
Yeah.
I have no idea. I thought that was you. I have no clue.
Yeah, it's coming off, but not like, it's kind of like doing that thing like we were talking about. And like I said, it's not saying it's a bad heat treat, but it's saying it's not an amazing heat treat. It's not like a really good one. Now we're not talking about specifically HRC here. We're more talking about just a good quality heat treat. Now, like I said, I'm not saying it's bad. It's okay, but it could be better. And usually CIVIVI does a pretty good job with it. So I don't think, like I said, I'm not saying it's bad or anything. Let me just grab a piece of paper really quick. You see that little piece right there where I kind of hit? It's a very coarse edge. I mean, you can see it's very sharp. But But yeah, it's a little rocky right there. I mean, it's an incredibly sharp, toothy edge, but just that burr, you know, it's it wasn't the best deburring process. It is nice and slick though now. Right there, I feel a little tiny bit of rockiness, and I don't think it's any burr left. I think it's kind of like we were saying. I think that when during the deburring process, maybe a little bit got pulled out. Like most people would not even notice what I'm noticing right now. I am being extremely picky. So let me just be clear about that. Most people, this would be a phenomenal edge. They'd be very happy with this, especially at 325. At 325, baby, grab me that book over there, the U-line book. I want some paper out of there. We're going to show how sharp this is at 325 because it is hyper aggressive. It is very, very sharp. Yeah. So what we're going to do is we're going to tear a page out of U-line's book.
Oh, U-line.
And we're going to see.
Sponsor us, U-line. Look at what we do for you.
You can see how. Oh, that was my fault. Yeah. So it's a really good hedge, but this is just an indicator where, like I said, doing this one was twice is good. Like deburring, like it was so easy. Took me like a quarter of the time to deburr than it was for this. So that just shows you the difference there in the heat treat and the quality of the heat treat. Like again, I want to emphasize, I'm not saying this is a bad heat treat. I'm saying it could be a little bit better than the deburring process would be easier at a coarse edge. Now, yes, of course, I can move up to 600 grit and it'd probably get easier because the fineness of the apex would be finer, right? And in that case, yes, it's going to deburr, and not deburr easier. I'd probably notice a little less of this. Like I said, most people, that's what they do. They sharpen it out. They move up grits, so they never even touch on how well it can have a coarse edge. That's steel. Now this is D2, so D2 already does really good with a coarse edge. At least as far as the kind of edge you should put on it. So a 325 grit edge on this is a good edge for D2. I could move up to, like I said, I don't like to go over 600 with D2. You can go up to 1200, but after 1200, you'll start getting diminishing returns as far as sharpness, bite, toothiness, and all of that shit. I do recommend, though, if you're going to go up with D2 to a finer edge, the lower your angle, probably the better your edge is going to come out as far as bite goes. Now, D2 also, though, it's not a very tough steel or anything. CPM D2 is far tougher. So, but talking about regular D2, it's not a tough steel. What's up, baby?
What kind of strop were you using?
Oh,
this Beavercraft?
No, this
right?
is a Hutzels.
Hutzel. It's a
Hutzel. And then I put Gunny juice emulsion. It's linked down in the description on it. This is a diamond emulsion. I got to get new ones. Okay, so now we are going to talk about these angle guides because I think a lot of you could benefit with this. These angle guides, right? We talked about them before. These go on your ceramic rods, and it makes it to where, you know, you have an angle to start from, and you're going to go slide down your rod. I'm not going to pull my rod out right now, but that's what it's for. These are, you can get a whole pack of these, all different angles, and then you will already have an angle to start with. Now, I'm going to show you how to use them. I know it might be self-explanatory, but what you want to do is have it lay there, then take your blade. We're going to use a chef knife. This is a VOSTEED. Lay it on there flat. You see how it's flat right now? Like, I am making sure my whole grind is flat on there. I'm not lifting up and then sliding my edge down to the stone. I'm going to hold it flat. Go ahead, baby. Thank you for the donation.
We got 2 bones from Formula One.
That's what I'm talking about.
Leclerc. I can't say that word. And you know what they said?
What?
Boink.
Boink. Thank you for the boink.
That's a fancy entrance to a live.
Yeah, he's been doing it lately.
Boinking?
Yeah, well, yeah, with the 2-bone boink.
The 2-bone boink. You gotta hit it with the 2-bone boink. That's the way you enter a live.
So
that was funny.
Thank you again, man. When you lay it down on here now, now you can slide the edge to the plate. Okay, so that is the angle. Now you can use these wrong. You can use these bad. So make sure you lay it down on there, then slide the edge to the stone, to the plate or stone, then start your movement so that your angle is held. Come back, lay it on there, slide down, hit it again, go. Same thing, slap down, slide down. That way you're going to be very consistent with hitting that angle. Very easy. Now on the other side, I would do the same thing. Can you see? I'd let it hit right there, just like that. Let it hit, then slide it down. Now it's hitting, and then come across. But I'm going to move my hand away from the first part. So let it come down. And in order to get the tip, I'm lifting my elbow, not my wrist. It's basically like I'm shaving a layer off of the plate. That's basically what you're simulating. Because you're trying to hold this angle and basically slice a very thin layer. Act like you're slicing the thinnest layer of skin off of something. Very, very easy. We already have a burr. I'm not going to finish this because I'm actually going to do a short working on this. But it's very easy to use. And this can help you sharpen your chef knives, which might be a little bit big. Now, normally the way I do my chef knives is I do them in portions. So I'll start here, work this side, then I'll go up to the front, and then I'll blend it. So, but this is a great way to do your EDC knives, your chef knives, whatever knives. Get these guides. If you're having trouble holding an angle, this can help you learn how to not only start with the same angle over and over and over and over, because it gives you the ability to learn, like, what does it feel like to hit my angle over and over? Also, you'll get a perfect apex. So, you get a perfect edge bevel. That's what I meant. You get a perfect angle to an edge bevel. And so when you go to repeat and put it back on the stone, you'll know what it feels like to actually hit an edge bevel where you're holding it on that angle perfectly. So next time, like when you do get rid of this and you start sharpening without it, you'll actually know what it's like. So you're not convexing, because that's what most people wind up doing. They don't realize they're lifting. They don't realize they're dropping. So they convex, and it's not even their fault. They just don't know what it feels like to hold a perfect angle. Yes, baby.
K. Mason said 15 degrees on the chef knife?
12.
12? How come those pre-angled ones, they always make it 15 for chef knives?
You know, you can go down to 10 degrees if you want.
I'm just saying, how come they do that on those pre-angled sharpeners?
What ones?
Like the 15 and 20 ones, where it's always 15 and 20, and they say the 15 is for a chef knife.
Well,
is that the most standard?
Yeah, it's just a standard thing. It's like 15 degrees is a low angle, right? So 50, you got to think, chef knife is not made for hard use. Yes, it needs to be tough because, you know, sometimes you do some chopping and stuff like that. But what it needs to be is very, very slicey. You want it to be able to go through dense objects. So since carrots and apples and fruits and vegetables are very dense, you want it to slide through effortlessly. So having a very low angle with the geometry of a chef knife, which is the best type of cutting geometry you can get on a knife, is through a chef knife. Look at how thin the spine is versus how tall the grind is, or broad the grind is. They're very, very slicey. So putting a low angle on it, you're not needing it to have much toughness. You're mostly looking for sliciness. Now, with like a chopper, that's going to be a little different. Yes.
QM just linked angle guide maps for like a 3D printer. Like you could just download the link and then put it in your 3D printer, and it prints the angle guides.
There you go. If you guys got a 3D printer,
that's awesome.
Yeah, print them. Yeah.
Print them.
Don't use Neves Knives link and support the channel. Just print your. I'm just joking. No, seriously though. Yeah, if you have a printer, dude, that's awesome. Fuck yeah.
We have a new member.
Hey, shout out to the Bang Gang Squad.
We
got a new squad
1971.
Name. Say the name again.
Met 1971.
Met 1971.
Like the Mets, like the baseball.
Shout out to you for joining the Bang Gang Squad. Bang Gang.
You obviously are a man of good decision making.
You are. Yeah. You've already
very distinguished taste.
You've already shown that. You've shown your ability to make good decisions in life.
What factory angle did that come as? 17, probably 15.
No, it was a high angle. It was probably
really?
20. Yeah, it was probably 20.
20?
The chef knife?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was probably 20. Most knives from factories come at 20 degrees because you can always lower them. They want their edges to be tough. The last thing they want to do is send you a knife and then you fucking bump something like a ceramic plate and then have a chip in it because you're not being, conservative with your knife. So, and if you know better, then you might drop your angle, just like even pocket knives. Pocket knives all come with high angles because you can always drop it, but they want your edge to be sharp and tough. That's what they want. Now, does everybody need a super tough edge? No. Does some people want a super tough edge? Yeah. So you can decide from there. Some angles come really good, like Spyderco's. Spyderco's, in my opinion, do like the best angles on their edges. Now, with chef knives, though, a 12-degree angle, depending on what you're using it for and how you're using it, is a great angle because this is nice and thin behind the edge. It's going to make it super slicey. And what I like in many cases is that what I can do now is I have my low angle. So when I start using it and say it starts going dull, I can take the ceramic rod and hit it a couple times and throw a micro bevel on it. So I already have a very low angle. So all I'm doing is just cracking a micro bevel at the very apex. Or I can strop it. But I'm just saying, though, it gives me the ability to throw a couple micro bevels on there before I resharpen it. Because I have such a low angle on there and it's really easy. Just fill this. I'm going to wind up sharpening this on a short. This is not going to be the longest Bang Gang live because we have that live with Justin from OCD for EDC with that because of the guy that passed away. So, letting you guys know, we're going to be ending this pretty soon. But if there's anything you guys want to talk about sharpening-wise, leave it down in the comments right now so we can bring it up and talk about it right now. I know I get a lot of questions on Instagram, so these are the times to talk about it with me so that I can answer it live. A lot of times it's very difficult to explain something in a comment rather than in person. But yeah, these VOSTEED knives are pretty good. This one's 3-layer high carbon steel. It's a Sanmai. They look good. They function really good. And yeah, I like them. We have a bunch of different chef knives. I got a 14C28N one by Tucson that Chris donated to us, which I love. What's up?
Dennis was like, to Matt, the guy that just became a Kershaw, he was like, welcome to the Bang Gang, but keep in mind, nobody wants to be a Kershaw. You can upgrade whenever you want.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
No, I said we love our Kershaws in the Bang Gang, and it should go absolutely unsaid that they're the nice, pretty USA-made
awesome.
Kershaws.
They are definitely very awesome. But you always could upgrade.
Oh my gosh!
No, it's awesome, man. We love the Kershaws here. They were almost Gerbers.
Yeah, we were gonna. I told Jared.
We changed that real quick.
Yeah, but that was not because we don't. That's not what it's supposed to be. But we were just like trying to think of like 3 different tiers of knives that made sense.
Yeah, and we were like, man, if we name it Gerbers, nobody will pick the lowest tier.
Yeah, and then people just wouldn't join at all because they just wouldn't have the money.
So this HOGUE appears that they put a 17-degree edge angle on it, which is a good angle. I knew, though, that it was a lower angle. I could tell because it... And also, another thing, they kind of polished it. I'm guessing they put it on a polishing wheel.
Wait, what's our second tier? Spartan?
Yeah.
That seems like such a big gap.
I know, but then the next one's the Rocksteads.
I feel like we should change the Spartan one to like...
Why? No.
To like...
No. You got the base models, and then the next one would be like high production.
We should change the Kershaws to the Honey Badgers. Just one single knife. Instead of a whole brand. No, I think we should change the Kershaws, though. I think they need a little upgrade.
To what?
I don't know. The CIVIVIs, maybe.
No.
Oh, we were trying to do.
to do most of.
Rockstead isn't USA.
I know, but we did Rocksteads because like Rockstead is still a company. It's a Japanese company, but it's highly regarded. That's why we were trying to do mostly all USA. But
yeah, the Kershaws are intended to be the nice USA ones. Not like
they're not all USA.
I'm saying our Kershaws.
Yeah. They're
the USA Kershaws.
But no, we could change it to Benchmates. That would be smart, right?
Oh, the Benchmates.
Yeah.
Yo, we should do that.
These motherfuckers are Benchmates.
The Benchmates.
All right, sticky stuff on my
That seems good. That actually makes sense. Polo's here.
What's up, Polo?
I summoned him with my mind. I know, it's pretty amazing I can do that.
Back here was a little bit higher, than a 17. It's weird how they did this edge, because like from here to here was 17, and then back here it was lower. So I'm guessing when they went into the belt, they like angled it a little weird, and then went like this across the belt. And then the other side is clearly a higher angle, or the grind is a little thinner on this side. Or deeper, I should say. Should have hit this a couple times on the stone because I did want to resharpen it. It actually had a decent edge on it, but it's N680, and N680 does not last very long.
Hey, baby.
Yeah.
Why get stir?
What?
Why get stir?
I have no idea what you're saying.
I don't know what they're saying, but I like reading it. It's German.
Why get stir?
Yeah, why get stir?
Why get stir?
Krankenwagen. No, Krankenwagen. I know 9. That's the other thing I know. And not the number 9, the word no. I'm very distinguished, if you couldn't tell. Bye, Mur Alice.
Yeah, we're almost done, guys. I'm just trying to hit the whole whole edge on this. Oh, there we go. Now we're hitting her. Yeah, man. Some companies' edge bevels are crap. Man, I'll say this, like, Bucks, man. I don't know what they use to sharpen their knives, but man, their heat treats are great. They do a good job with their heat treat and all that stuff, but damn it, is their edges all wonky. This one's not too bad. It has a couple spots that are not perfect. Sometimes I just wish that these USA companies would hold themselves to a higher standard, which they usually do. Don't get me wrong. A lot of them do. That's why, like, with this Benchmade, man, the heat treat was so good on it, which I would rather have that than an even grind. And in this case, the grind is a little off from one side to the other. Not that big of a deal. It just means the edge bevels are going to be uneven from one side to the other. But whatever. Not that big of a deal. So that's what I hate. I hate hitting those ridges. Damn it. There we go.
YouTube is really acting up today.
Why?
Just like the way it's loading and stuff.
We're going to move over to this 325. You know what? No. There's a lot more reprofiling on this side. I was going to move over just so I'm not hitting these ridges, but this stone is a lot more aggressive. This is a dope plate, though. I still like it a lot. Because it is very aggressive on the 150 side. I'm not sure how long the diamonds will last on it, but we'll see. They feel pretty good. They don't feel like they're falling off as easily as like a TS Prof stone. Man, those TS Prof stones, they wear out so fast. Like, so fast. It's crazy how fast they wear out. Somebody else had told me that too before I had really used them. And I didn't know whether or not to believe them because I've heard so much shit, but man, they were 100% right. Those TS Prof plates, man, they wear out like nothing. It's like, holy cow, I've used this twice. Their systems are great, but their plates suck. All right, we're pretty good. I got a little bit of shouldering I could hit right there. So let's just get it really quick. Now, if you guys don't know, I'm about to do the cut test on the MagnaCut Deca. I got that set up for, I got all my cardboard set up and ready, so I'll probably wind up filming that tonight or tomorrow for filming it. But I got it all set up, and then we're going to see how it goes. I'm going to sharpen it and see how the heat treat feels on the stone, see how it winds up doing in a cut test, a controlled cut test. Not the cleanest cardboard, but it's going to be as controlled as I can get with my cardboard, which I think is a little more realistic. However, you know, when you're trying to do a controlled test, you're trying to take out any variables. And one variable is there might be a little bit of tape. And the cardboard is not all the exact same. However, I'm going to go through it and try to grab the most similar cardboard as possible out of my pile. All right, let's get over to this 300 now. Yeah! hopefully this stuff deburrs really good.
Matt said, you guys work for me now. We'll see how you do, and maybe I'll consider upgrading if you prove yourselves.
Well,
okay, Mr. Matt, we will do our best. Please don't fire us.
I'll say this steel does feel already. It feels even better than that D2. Not this D2, but the CIVIVI's D2. It does feel quite a bit better. Just on the stone wise. It doesn't, let me be clear though, it doesn't feel hard because it's not a super hard steel. It's on 680. I just mean it feels good. It's sharpening really good. The steel removal's coming off really good. We'll see how the Burr goes. Now, that is no indicator on how well they did the magnet cut. So, however this goes does not reflect how the magnet cut's going to turn out, because that is a completely different beast, and we know some companies are not doing it as well as others. I have really high hopes. Of course, I don't want to tell everybody that it sucks, so I'd hate to do that, but if that's the way it is, that's the way it is, you know. I'm definitely not going to pull any punches.
Okay, within the next 24 hours, the Kershaws will officially be the Benchmates.
What if all the people that were Kershaws are Kershaws because they love Kershaws? Because, you know, Kershaws are dope. And they hate Benchmates.
Well,
then they'll switch to the Spartans.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, that feels good, man. That felt really good.
What's up, Zarosta?
What's up, Zarosta? Zarosta in the house.
And Heyman. Heyman's been here. Been a little bit of a ninja watcher, though. About that. Oh, Michael has a question for you, sweetheart. He says, I have a question. Do you knife guys and gals save the boxes that your knives come in? Because I have a ton of knives. Welcome to the club. The answer is yes.
Dude, I save them because I give a lot away and I sell some and blah, 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 blah. But no, I don't keep every single one. But yes, I probably have about 2,000 boxes. I hate it.
Yes.
I hate it because there's so many, and some of which you want to, because if you have the box, you have the value of the knife is more if you have the original box, and that's why I save them. And then if I ever do a giveaway, I can try to give it away with the box. Now, if it's, you know,
I actually
nothing special, then it's not that big of a deal.
I actually literally just purchased like multiple shelving units for this exact purpose, and bins and stuff to organize them in, because the shelf that you guys sometimes see a portion of in our background, the entire bottom half of it is literally just filled with boxes.
All boxes.
There's another clear bin filled with boxes. Like, and it gets tough too. Like when we have people's knives here, I also just bought a shelving unit to keep people's knives that we're like reviewing, we're not sharpening right now, but whatever. Like all that stuff, it's separate now in these little bins. So we can be like, okay, this one's next. Because seriously, otherwise you run the risk of like getting confused with boxes and stuff like that. We're in a small area, so it's not like we ever lose anything, and we would never do that. But it makes it a lot easier to be organized.
Yeah, you want to stay as organized as possible when you have so many knives and boxes and other people's knives and boxes. Okay. I'll do one more pass. I'm going to try to do a deburr really quick. I was going to go up a little higher with this one to 1200, but since this topic's about coarse edges, let's see how this one does.
Thank you, Michael.
Sorry, guys, I'm not talking more. I'm just hyper focused.
He's mad at you guys.
Yeah.
He told me last night that he's mad at all of you.
All of you. Let me see how this goes. Feels like the burr is a little bit bigger than I prefer to start stropping with, but I'm going to see if I can get it off with this strop.
How do you spell Zephyrus?
Oh,
wait, it's on my laptop.
That is.
It is right on my laptop.
What is that word?
The name of my laptop.
Zephyrus?
Yeah. Which one is it? It's the Zephyrus. When we got the laptop on sale.
No, you can. Sorry, one second.
I just want to know how much it was.
You can do a little bit of extra stropping with coarse edges than you can with fine edges. Normally, I say 5 to 10 passes per side, but when it's an extra coarse edge, you can do a little bit more just because. Say that again, baby.
Do you remember how much this laptop was when it went on sale?
The laptop? I don't know. What was it? 3,000 or something? I don't
know.
What was it?
We would never spend $3,000.
I don't know. I don't remember. 1,500 or something?
That's what it was originally priced at, and it was cheaper than that. It was somewhere right around 1,000, I think. Like a little over, like 1,200 maybe.
Yeah, something like that. This burr is coming off very nicely. It feels really good. This feels way better than that CIVIVI at the same grit. Whew. Nice and sticky too. Where's that? Yeah, this stuff feels pretty good. Not too bad, Hogue. I hope the Magnet Cut is like this, because this is a very coarse. Remember, this is super coarse, guys. This is 325 grit. Look at that. $325 grit. The whole thing, nice and clean, feels nice and glassy the whole way up. Very sticky. Like I don't feel any other bumps or gouges. Nice and glassy. Very, very nice.
There's a word in German that says muffle.
Man.
Ich bin da wohl der Muffel.
Push cuts. A lot of people don't think you can push cut through things like this with a coarse edge. Look at that.
QM Bean was like, Uline, you have a limited time to seal this deal, because I said you
like you do.
You're giving them free advertising. We need to scribble out their name on every paper you cut until they sponsor us. Just cross it out.
All right, let's take a look at the edge. Let's chip it first. All right. Tell me if you can see this, baby. Come on, help me out.
I'm looking at the screen.
Why
is mine so delayed? It looks a
Can you
little
see it?
Overexposed.
Okay, should I back up?
Back that thing up, babe. Back it up. That looks a little better. It's just a darky, like you can see like where the edge is lighter.
But can you see the grit?
Now I can. Now I can see the grit. Now I can. Yeah. It was like underexposed and then overexposed in some parts. Now I can see.
Okay. How about this side?
Also, guys, when you're like trying to watch something like this where it needs to be a little bit more detailed, it's a little overexposed. Turn your YouTube quality for the video up to 1080 or 4K or whatever.
Anyways, I can see I did not hit the very, very back of the shoulder right here at the very tip, because the grind is a little bit off from one side to the other. And from the factory, what they did was when they came off their belt, you can see that they twisted their wrist or something, or maybe the robot, whatever did, and they hit it higher than they should have. My angle is perfect, so it's not hitting where theirs was, but the next sharpening will take that right out. That's not a big deal, and my angle is actually pretty even from one side to the other. I can see a couple little inconsistencies where their grind is barely off. Most of it, I think, is not from the grind. It's from their factory edge. The grind is actually pretty even from one side to the other. It's just their factory edge was a little bit off. maybe right here at the heel there, the grind from the factory is a little bit thicker or thinner, but whatever. I'm not worried about it. This is a user, a tough knife, a beater. I love this knife. Love the blade shape. I've been using it for, I don't even know. I even used it today. I cut up a bunch of cardboard and stuff with it. This is probably the third or fourth day I've used it, and I really, really like it. But one thing did happen. A screw. They sent it with a broken screw. I already contacted Hogue. They're supposed to be sending us a new one. This came from Knife Center, I think. Not that I have anything against Knife Center, but I don't know. If I can help it, I buy from a different company. Just to be honest. I'm not saying I don't like them in the future. You know, if I ever talk good, you know, there's nothing wrong with them. I have no problems with them. I like them. I've bought many, many, many knives from them. But yeah, this did come from them, and the package was opened up. Like I said, the screw was broken. I just contacted Hogue. They're sending me a new one. But the knife itself, fantastic knife. One of the most, it's so comfortable in the hand. You don't even feel the clip. You feel like you could just muscle this thing through things. Kind of like the Benchmade Griptilian. And that's why I think I love it so much, because it reminds me so much of the Benchmade Griptilian. In the reverse grip, it's pretty comfortable aside from the glass breaker right there. But, you know, pulling cords or straps, you know, it's going to be nice and comfortable. The pinch grips are nice. And then you also have this belt cutter, which is on a detent. And this is the sharpest belt cutter I've ever felt. I mean, it is screaming sharp. So, and I love how clicky it is. This little thing is for oxygen tanks. Because remember, this is the trauma, so it's supposed to be like a rescue knife or, you know, first aids knife or a fireman's knife, whatever. The problem is it's N680, which is a very budget steel. You can consider it like probably like 440C, basically. This is bang.
Excuse me, I sneezed.
This is technically a 440C belt cutter. The N680, I mean, that's what I look at it like. It's like 440C because you got to think VG10 is going to be very similar. So VG10, that's basically what you're looking at. VG10.
How do you sharpen that belt cutter? I don't know what that means.
So the belt cutter, I got it. The belt cutter.
You got it? You sure? Yeah. You don't want me to handle it?
Nope, got it.
Got it.
So
he's got it, guys.
You can use a rod that's similar size right here. That's what you're going to use as a rod. Now, this is the thing, though. With the belt cutter like this, a lot of people think that you should sharpen this part, right? You should eventually, but the real way to sharpen it is you sharpen it through the backside. So you can take this thing and lay it flat on a stone like this. Sharpen it like this. It's very easy. That's the beautiful thing, because it's already flat, right? Yes, you're going to remove the coating, but what you do is you just remove that, and then what it'll do is it'll automatically remove the steel here, and then you just knock the burr off this way. That's one way to do it very easily, and then it'll look the exact same. It'll just not have any coating on this side. Now, another way you can do it is you could sharpen just this. Man, this thing is super sharp. You could just get this edge and do like a micro bevel on this side, removing any of the chips from this side. Or you can do a rod and just, you know, take a rod and run it like kind of like I'm using this pen right now.
Just use a file.
Just like that.
That's what Mock says.
Well, I would use, it is 440C, so you could just about use anything, but I would use an aluminum oxide rod. That's what I would use. Or like use an aluminum oxide rod, then change to a ceramic rod. Or an India rod. You could use, I wouldn't use a file personally. I would use something with a stone, because it's going to be the structure of the edge is just going to be better, in my opinion. But you can use whatever you want. I mean, I don't give a shit. I mean, it is just a belt cutter, right? So, you know, what's the big deal? As long as it's sharp, right? As long as it'll cut. And this one, Uline, you better be sponsoring us after this.
Why don't you cross their name out?
You can see Hopefully I'll be able to cut with it, but it is very sharp. Oh. Like I said, it is the sharpest belt cutter I've ever felt, but getting... Starting that initial cut is the hard part. Anyways, but yeah, they're pretty easy to sharpen. You just sharpen it like one serration, basically. Now, but a lot of people don't realize that with a partial serration blade, everybody thinks you go right to the serrations and start sharpening the serrations. That's not how you sharpen a serrated blade. You sharpen the opposite side. You take the opposite side and put that on the stone, and you remove the steel from this side. Flipping it back over, you'll have a burr on your serrations. And then you knock the burr off. That's actually how you do serrations. Let me grab one real quick just to show you guys. Hopefully I can find it. Actually, I might not be able to find my serrated knife. Where is...
What are you looking for?
The mini grip.
With the serrations?
Yeah.
The serrations. That was a good French accent, boy. Check the drawers, the wooden drawers, no? I thought I saw it in there.
Yeah, 1 second. I just had it.
Whoa. Backed that thing up right into me.
Got it. All right, so like
Jared,
if I'm going to do this one, what I'm going to do, what?
Is it possible to sharpen a serrated knife without a file? And how would that be done if so?
I'm telling you right now.
Okay. Your telling seems logical.
Okay,
That's
so...
what you're telling. You're going to show them the other
so
side.
You have the serrations here, right? Now, if you have so much damage that these are all just, like, fucked up, then yes, you have to reapply these, and you're going to need files or stones, rods. I would use a diamond file, a diamond rod. That's what I would use. So use a diamond rod and create new serrations. However, if you've only used them and they're just going dull and there's not a lot of damages, because that's how you should be using it, you shouldn't wait till it's damaged to tune it up. So if you've used it a bunch of times and it's ready to sharpen, flip it over to this side and you see how I sharpened mine. See how I sharpened mine? See how there's discoloration, how there's no coloring on there? That's because I put that on the stone. I took a thin stone and I sharpened it like this. Sharpening it until the steel was removed on this side. So I sharpen this side until I have a burr on all my serrations. When I feel down right here, I can feel there's a burr. Then I take my diamond rod and I just knock the burr off. The burr will flip over to this side. Then I just do like a backwards pass. Take my diamond file it again.
Oh, look at that.
Hit it once. Same thing on this side, then strop it to death. And then you'll be all, then you just take your strop and you strop it.
Look at that sweet
Make sure you're
knife.
getting in between each serration by hitting the corner of the strop inside that serrated part. And that's how you do it. And then get the opposite side and just continue back and forth. Thing is, with the serrations, you have to do each one individually. You go back.
That sucks.
Well, it just is what it is.
Whoa.
You know, if you want the benefits of having the serrated blade, you got to deal with the problems of sharpening it.
Can I ask you a question? Is it possible, like, okay, do serrations typically follow a similar spatial pattern, meaning like that style of serration, are the spaces and the size of the serrations typically going to be the same on most knives?
No.
If you have VEF serrations, are they going to typically be about the same width? Each serration.
Each one, there's going to be a pattern. So you're going to have like 2 big ones and 1 small one.
Would it be
Two big ones,
possible
one
to
small one.
create, don't steal this idea, guys. Would it be possible to create some sort of a unique device with file poles on it, and it looks like a pitchfork. Think of like a pitchfork, right? But you can like move the spacing
That's
on
smart.
it, and then you can get them all at once.
That's smart. Very smart. Where it's like 3 or 4 or something.
Yeah, and you can just
you have your one big one and then one small one, and you can put it exactly where you want it.
Yeah, and it's like a pitchfork. Dude,
don't steal our idea, guys.
Yeah, our idea.
I told you not to be telling our fucking invention ideas.
It was so good when it came to me just now.
Well, now we have Workshop's to make it quick. Workshop's going to have it tomorrow.
We have to make it quick.
Let me see that. All right, guys, we're going to get out of here. We have another live to make it to, and I still have to make it to the gas station first.
Let me just make sure there's no more questions before.
Yeah, if there's any more questions. But if you guys want, we can do an episode with serrations. How would you guys like that? You guys want an episode with serrations?
Said it was off screen when you showed the serrations, when you showed how to sharpen them.
Was it?
Yeah, I think you went off screen with
so here, what I was saying is that, so with the shop or with the sharpening? With the sharpening, you sharpen this side. You sharpen the side that doesn't have the serrations. You sharpen this side, not the serrated side. So if there's lots of damages, then yes, you have to sharpen the serrated side. You have to take your rods. You're going to need a big rod and a small rod. So you can get, or what you do is you get a rod that tapers. So a rod that goes down to a point. So you can take the point of it and get the small ones. Then you can get the big ones at the bigger part of it. All right. I have one in the other room. Kara can go grab it.
Oh, what?
Go grab my diamond rod.
Okay, also...
Or you know what? I'll go grab it. It'll take you longer.
Okay, well,
let me get through, baby.
On your way...
Nope.
Think about when sharpening with a work sharp field sharpener, do we use all 4 sides to sharpen? You think about that and you come back and answer it.
I don't understand that question.
When sharpening with a work sharp field sharpener, do we use all 4 sides to sharpen?
Where's my diamond rod?
Your diamond rod?
I found it.
You got it?
Do you use all 4 sides of the work sharp field, the precision or the field? The precision sharpener or the field sharpener?
The field.
The field, you don't have to. You just use, what I would do is I use the diamond, so you use both sides of the diamond, and then you use the ceramic rod to knock your burr off, and then the strop. I wouldn't use the ceramic stone to sharpen on. I would use it to hone, or possibly just remove the burr, but I would not spend a long time on the ceramic because the jump from the grit of the diamond plate to the ceramic is too big of a jump. You would need 1 to 2 other stones in between there. So you take your diamond rod. You see how it tapers like this, where it goes narrow? Then it has a thick side on this side.
Also,
wrong way.
K Mason was asking like a teardrop shaped rod, and then seems logical saying the only rod he has is the rod on one of those mini pull-through sharpeners. Is that a horrible option or passable?
A rod on a pull-through? Why do you have
one of those mini pull-through sharpeners?
Well, throw that in the garbage.
A rod? There's a rod on it though?
Oh, he's talking about because sometimes they have like a little rod on it. Yeah, you can use that. I mean, if it's ceramic. So you can use diamond or ceramic.
Does it have to be a teardrop shaped rod?
Yes, I'm sitting here explaining it right now. So
sorry, I'm just making sure I read their questions.
I know, but I have it in my hand and I'm doing it right now.
Okay, I wasn't looking at the screen. Sorry.
Yeah. So you take this type of rod where it narrows down to a point, and then the point is for the smaller serrations, right? But you don't need to use this to sharpen these unless if there's damages. Okay. You want to take and flip it to the other side and sharpen this side. You don't have to use a rod. You can use a stone. So you can take like, I don't have the small stones over here, but you guys know my small stones. You can take your small stones. You can use the rod if you want, and then you sharpen on this side until they're removed. You're basically going to hold it flat and sharpen that side. And then once you have it to where this side has removed a micro bit of steel, just a micro bit till there's a burr. Once you feel a burr, then you take your rod and you knock the burr off. Then you take the bigger side because this is a bigger serration right here. Sorry, this is a bigger serration. So you take the bigger part of it, knock it off, go to the smaller part, the point, knock it off, go to the bigger part here, knock it off. You're just knocking off the burr.
Like a chisel?
Then the burr should be damn near flipped. Go to this side, take the same little rod, and just knock it off. Go to this side one more time. Knock it off. Then you go to the strop. Strop the opposite side. Make sure it's nice and stropped. Then you take and you do each serration on the leather. Each one.
So like.
Do the other side.
My invention. It's
one
painful
more.
to watch.
Opposite side, and that's how you do serrations. But like I said, though, you know, if you have damages, you have to file in a whole new edge angle, and that can be tough. It can definitely be tough. You have to make sure you're holding it really good. Make sure you're nice and firm, because the biggest problem with doing serrations is you're holding the knife. When you hold the knife, you'll be like this. You'll be like this, and then the rod will be like this, and it becomes a wave, or, you know, it's not even a straight bevel. You need, like, that's why a lot of times if you can just clamp this, maybe go like this, take and clamp it or something, and get yourself an angle guide or something like that, like this, so that you have a perfect angle when you're doing it. You know, there's lots of different ways to do it, but however you can do it to where even your finger, maybe, like, use your finger as a guide where it's the same angle, and then run it back and forth, but use obviously the opposite side with the big ones or something, so that they're bigger, so you're not hitting the narrow part. But yeah, they can be a bitch, though. They can definitely be a bitch, but it just takes understanding how to create a bevel. That's it. The bevel's only on this side. This side is a flat area, so you can technically micro bevel this area, and it's not really micro beveling. You're basically just making a flat, making it flat, but it's helping you get the most out of your serrations before you reapply them. Now, another way you can do it is you can do it with your Dremel. You can get your Dremel, get the little Dremel wheels, and bzz, 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 bzz. That's how they're created in the factory, is basically with a system like that, as far as I know. But yeah, that would probably be the best way. Oh, I'm missing a screw. You get all the bench made. Oh, you know what? Actually, I think I have it in a box. Anyways, but a Dremel would be very fast if you're good with it. The reason why I don't recommend it right off the bat is because a lot of you would fucking destroy your knife because it's going too fast, and it's going to do the work so fast that you'll wind up messing up. But if you're good with a Dremel would be a decent way to do it, to create new serrations, not to just sharpen them. Remember, that's two different things there. Sharpening your serrations is different than reapplying serrations. So remember that. All right. Any more questions?
Nope. I told him that we had to get out of here, so.
Okay, guys. Remember, those of you that do wind up asking questions later or messaging me or anything like that, save them for a Bang Gang Live. And if you're not a member and you're listening right now, become a fucking Bang Gang member.
Yeah, we get a lot of questions offhand outside of,
and I don't mind.
And stuff, which I'm not saying is a bad thing. I'm just saying, like, this is a really good place, because it is a lot better if you have questions for Jared to be able to actually show you what he's talking about. Sometimes it's really difficult to convey with my words questions to answer sharpening over Instagram and stuff like that.
It's very difficult for me to get you to understand exactly what I'm saying through words. Like say if I'm trying to tell you, well, you need to hold it at an angle with your hand up on the blade so that your finger, like just trying to say certain things is very difficult at times, rather than just me showing it. And, if I know you're having a hard time understanding, then I will explain it in a way that anybody would understand to the best of my ability. So there you guys go. Thank you guys for joining. Also, thank you guys for all the support. I hope you guys get a lot out of this. I know this one I was a little bit more quieter than normal. I was trying to focus a lot. Let me just make sure I hit everything.
Keep them entertained in the chat. It's my job. It's fill in the blanks when there's awkward silence.
I want to make sure I hit all these topics.
Jokes.
I think I hit all the topics today. All right, guys. I love you guys. Thank you guys for joining. Thank you guys for all the support. Thank you for the donations
love you
that came
too.
in. Love you guys. Peace.
Bye. Bye.